They say when there's life, there's hope. But who are they? Do they know what they're saying? Is there really hope? I don't even know where I can find it. There are so many bad events in the world. Problems are here and there. Just problems, no solutions. Oh, how I miss the kind of life I had before. Just staring at a blank space, thinking, no happiness, confused, wanting to give up, suffering, wanting to quit. Sacrifice is what my heart is screaming. Rain is falling, as my tears also fall. Why did it have to happen? Why now of all seasons? I am in despair. I resent responding again and again. But then one day, as I awake, I found myself surprised, for I've come a long way. I then ask myself, how? How did I not notice that in the first place, you were there carrying me? How can it be that you can answer all my questions? How is it possible that in the midst of all the chaos, you are my peace? They say when there's life, there's hope. I think they're right. Because you are life yourself. You are hope yourself. Live Life is a pillar of the Live Christ, Share Christ mission. We advocate the beauty of faith, family, and life. We proclaim the truth and goodness of life. Life is precious. Life is a gift. Life can be lived to the full. In Christ, anything is possible. In Christ, we will live life.
Life is a gift. It is the greatest gift given to us. It is the breath of God in us. It is that which makes us alive. And this very gift is under attack. Life is attacked on all fronts: divorce, unnatural end of life, abortion, total population control, and homosexual and irregular unions. As Catholics, we cannot stay on the sidelines. We cannot be spectators to the ongoing war against faith, family, and life. We have to be involved, and we have to be equipped. In this next set of workshops, let us study and unmask the evils that try to harm the goodness of life, and courageously respond to the work of upholding and defending life.
How would you handle someone who comes to you pregnant and asks for help?
What do you usually say? What will be your initial response?
To whom would you refer them if needed?
And what do you do if the person tells you that she had an abortion or she intends to have an abortion?
I am Rene Perez,
And I am Lily.
and we are here to discuss with you what can we do to help a woman in pregnancy crisis so that she will not choose abortion.
And how do we accompany any woman who already had an abortion?
We will explore the role of a lifeguard on the aspects of pregnancy crisis intervention.
And post-abortion healing and support. Pregnancy is ideally a time of joy and blessing. However, there are circumstances in which a woman views pregnancy as a crisis because of the timing or physical, emotional, economic, and social factors. A pregnancy is considered a crisis when it is unplanned or unwanted, when it is untimely or unexpected, when the woman is too young, let's say, for example, still a teenager, or too old, she's in her premenopausal stage, or maybe due to some physical or emotional or economic conditions. How does a woman in pregnancy crisis feel, and what does she need? Well, of course, she feels afraid. Afraid because people might find out, or she's afraid to tell her parents. She feels lonely, angry, and desperate. She needs someone to talk to. She needs someone who will accept her and not judge her.
What are the common causes of pregnancy crisis? Maybe she's into premarital sex or extramarital relationships. Maybe she's a victim of rape or of incest. Or maybe her contraceptive failed her. Premarital sex is common because of pornography. They act out what they see. Or when they are in vices, like alcohol and drugs. Or peer pressure, when their friends are sexually active. Or when they have problem with their parents, they engage in premarital sex as a rebellion to their parents. Or sometimes they have a wrong belief about contraceptives. What they don't know about contraceptives are no contraceptives is 100% effective in preventing pregnancy. All contraceptives have failure rate. Condoms have pores. That's why there is 12 to 16% failure rate. Condoms offer no protection at all. Withdrawal is hard to achieve and unreliable. There are so many withdrawal babies.
Even with surgical methods like vasectomy or tubal ligation, which are supposed to have permanent effects, nagkakaroon pa rin ng unwanted pregnancy. Kasi when they're using contraceptives, lumalakas ang kanilang loob. They still engage in the sexual act even when the woman is fertile. Ang sigurado sa contraceptive ay ang marami nitong side effects. Kaya't ang babaeng gumagamit ng contraceptive, sinasabi namin hindi sila tumatanda kasi namamatay ng bata.
What is tragic about some contraceptives ay yung kanilang abortifacient effect. What is abortifacient? Abortifacient means capable of aborting the baby. These contraceptives do not prevent fertilization or conception. What is prevented is the implantation of the baby in the uterus. Thus, the baby is aborted. This happens with the IUD or intrauterine device and with the hormonal contraceptives like the injectables, Depo-Provera, the implants, the Norplans or Implanon, and with some pills.
Contraception is against the beginning of new life. Kaya gumagamit ng contraceptive ang isang babae kasi ayaw niyang mabuntis. When contraceptive fails at nagkaroon siya ng pregnancy, ang karaniwang naiisip niyang gawin ay 1. To terminate pregnancy through abortion kasi nga ayaw niya eh. And that is the relationship between contraception and abortion. Contraception leads to abortion. Kung ayaw mo ng abortion, dapat tanggihan mo na din ang contraception.
The intrinsic evils of abortion, according to Dr. Philip Ney, there are approximately 200 million new patients each year as a consequence of induced abortion. There are approximately 60 million abortions each year in the whole world. Subtracting repeat abortions, this means that there are approximately 50 million fathers and 50 million mothers and 100 million siblings, and the same number of grandparents who are deeply damaged annually.
His data indicate that those who were mistreated as children are more likely to have abortions, and that statistically, those who have abortions are more likely to abuse or neglect their children.
He believes that a combination of childhood mistreatment, being an abortion survivor, and having an abortion results in the deepest damage to the person.
Abortion is not legal in the Philippines. It is considered a crime.
Pag nahuli kang nagpa-abort, you'll be imprisoned, including your parents if you are a minor. The abortionist will also be persecuted, kaya it's being done secretly. He operates discreetly. Kaya kapag nagkaroon ka ng complications, hindi mo pwedeng indemanda yung abortionist. Pareho kayong ma-expose.
In the Philippines, in one 1997 study estimated that despite legal restrictions, in 1994 there were 400,000 abortions performed illegally in the Philippines. 80,000 hospitalizations of women for abortion-related complications.
Guttmacher Institute and UP Population Institute estimated 470,000 induced abortions were performed in the Philippines in the year 2000.
So in 2005, official estimates then ranged from 400,000 to 500,000 and rising. And according to the World Health Organization, the estimate was 800,000.
70% of unwanted pregnancies in the Philippines end in abortion. Approximately 4 in 5 abortions are for economic reasons, often where a woman already has several children and cannot care for another.
1 out of 4 pregnancies end in abortion. That is according to the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology in 3 public hospitals in Metro Manila. But this includes only those admitted to hospitals for incomplete abortions. It does not include those done by doctors, those aborted through IUD, and abortive patient pills or injections.
Who are having abortion? In Metro Manila has the highest rate at 52 per 1,000 women.
Luzon has 27 per 1,000 women.
In Visayas, 18 out of 1,000.
And in Mindanao, 17
Per
1,000 women.
Who are having abortions? Women of all ages and socioeconomic backgrounds have induced abortion. The poor women, 68%, non-poor women, 32%. At
Ang nakakalungkot, 90% ng mga nagpapa-abort ay Catholics. The term abortion may mean 2 things. So it's either a spontaneous abortion or an induced abortion. When we say spontaneous abortion, it is now called miscarriage. It is the natural death of an embryo or fetus before it is able to survive independently. So, yun yung tinatawag nating nakukunan or nakunan. No? Common symptoms of miscarriage is vaginal bleeding with or without pain, sadness, anxiety, and guilt, which often occurs afterwards. Sometimes the women who has miscarriage, they fear of getting pregnant again. Then there's anger or sometimes depression. And usually, they have spiritual crisis. They blame God.
Nagsiserve ka naman, pero bakit inalaw ni Lord na
Wala.
malaglag o mawala yung kaniyang baby?
Now, what is induced abortion? This, when we say abortion now, we refer to induced abortion. So, induced abortion is the willful killing of the fetus or the violent expulsion of the fetus from the maternal womb, which results in the death of the fetus.
There are various effects of induced abortion. Merong physical, may psychological, merong spiritual.
So, what are the physical dangers of abortion? Number one is death. Now, in abortion, the baby dies. Sigurado yun. But then, the mother can also die, no? Because of profuse bleeding or any accidents while the procedure is being done. There can be uterine perforation. There can be cervical lacerations, breast cancer. Recent studies show that there is a big chance of a woman who had an abortion, especially if this is her first pregnancy, to have breast cancer. Why? Because, di ba, during pregnancy, as the baby develops in the womb, the mother's body adapts. Meron ding changes sa kanyang hormones, sa kanyang mga cells of the body, especially yung cells niya sa breast. So, start siyang mag-develop. No? And what happens if you stop the pregnancy? So, mas stop din yung development ng mga cells na yon. No? So, this now, hindi nila malalaman kung anong mangyayari sa kanila. So, they get stuck there and ito yung pinagbumulan ng mga lumps in the breast and later can develop into breast cancer. Then there's cervical, ovarian, liver cancer. No? Meron pang iba, placenta previa, ectopic pregnancy, endometriosis, sterility, pelvic inflammatory disease.
Ang dami, pero yung physical dangers of abortion, madaling gumaling, could be treated medically. Ang mas mahirap, yung psychological o yung tinatawag na post-abortion syndrome. According to Dr. John Wilke, the greater problem encountered among women and fathers of the aborted child is the post-abortion syndrome.
Or PAS.
Mm-hmm.
Psychological and emotional problems. Ito, yung medyo mahirap gamutin. So what are those? Guilt, no? That's 81%. No? Regret and remorse, that's 73%. Then there's crying and depression. No? The woman keeps on crying and she becomes depressed. No? Then lower self-esteem, ang baba ng kanyang sarili. She feels dehumanized. No?
Mm-hmm.
Then there are nightmares, nananaginip, no? And then despair and helplessness, and eating disorders, and suicidal impulses. Aside from that, spiritual crisis also happens. The woman knows that committing abortion is mortal sin. It is against the fifth commandment, thou shalt not kill. So, because of this knowledge that the abortion itself is killing or it is mortal sin, no, the person loses relationship with God. They become afraid to pray or nahihiyang magsimba. No? So lumalayo siya slowly to God. No? And then maybe after a few days, she realizes what she's done, and then she goes to confession. No? In confession, the bishop or the priest listens to her and gives her absolution. But the woman, after the confession, and she goes home, no, finds it hard to believe that she has been forgiven. Okay, so she's bothered. She has this guilt going on and on in her mind, and then she cannot attain peace. No, so next time, babalik na naman for another confession, and then a third confession. So because the hardest thing for a woman who have had an abortion is forgiving oneself.
Ganito kagrabe ang epekto ng abortion. Kaya kung may magagawa tayo para maiwasan ito, di na tayo dapat magdalawang isip. What are we doing to fight abortion? Or have we done anything? An example of pregnancy crisis is what happened to our Mama Mary. She was 14 years old when she got pregnant, and she was not married yet with Joseph. What did Joseph do when he found out about Mary's condition? Instead of condemning Mary, he accepted, understood, supported, and loved Mary. Joseph gave us a good example.
Another example is the visitation. Mary, upon learning that her cousin Elizabeth was pregnant in her old age, so in her old age, of course, this could pose as a pregnancy crisis. No? What did Mary do? Mary went out in haste to lend assistance to her cousin Elizabeth, and she remained with her for about 3 months. This is a call to support pregnant women in need, exemplified by our Mother Mary.
To save the baby from abortion, let us not just focus on the baby. We should focus also on the mother. Love them both. If we support the pregnant woman in crisis, she will save her baby, and she will be a good mother to the baby, and she will raise him within a strong Christian family. That way, we have evangelized her. This is what we do in pregnancy crisis intervention.
As Mother Teresa puts it, or Saint Teresa of Calcutta, how do we persuade a woman not to have an abortion? As always, we must persuade her with love. Be willing to give until it hurts.
Love till it hurts. This is how we do it in the Heartbeat Pregnancy Support Services of Asia or PSSA. Ipadama muna natin na may nagmamahal sa kanya. Love her first, no judgment, no condemnation, no moralizing, no spiritualizing, and then we use the love approach.
Love approach. In the love approach, we listen and learn from the client. So L stands for listen and learn. Pakinggan natin yung babaeng lumapit sa atin, no? At matuto tayo, alamin natin yung kanyang sitwasyon. No? So you learn from the facts na ibibigay niya sa atin.
Yung mga strengths niya, weakness niya, beliefs niya, ba? Ano ang values niya. So we listen and learn to get to know the client.
After listening to her, so we ask her options, letter O. No? Open her options. She's pregnant. What is she thinking? Anong iniisip niya sa kanyang kalagayan ngayon? Anong iniisip niyang pwede niyang gawin? And usually, ito yung nakakatakot. Parang automatic na, no? Ang first option na lagi nilang binibigay is, di i-abort po para bang ganun na lang kadali, no? Ganun na lang kadali yung alisin yung baby sa sinapupunan. So, we do not tell her agad na, uy, wag, kasalanan yan sa Diyos. No. No? We encourage her to think of other options because there are other options. So, lead her into thinking, mag-isip, ano pa kaya, aside from abortion, ano pa kaya yung pwede mong gawin? So, she can think about others, no? So, maybe she can raise the baby by herself if she's capable naman, may trabaho naman siya, no? Or maybe she can, get married to the guy kung nagmamahalan sila. Meron akong mga client na ganyan, no? Matagal na naman pala nilang pinaplanong pakasal, no? Pero hindi nila ginagawa. So, then, the time came na hindi pa sila kasal, nabuntis yung babae, so, ayun, nagkaroon sila ng crisis. No? Pero, when I ask her, what could be your other options? Naisip niya, oo nga po, bakit hindi pa nga kami magpakasal? Diba? So, that could be an option. Or, kung hindi niya naiisip, pwede bang ituloy yung pregnancy? No? Tapos, ipa-adapt. Adoption is an option. Okay? So, we help her think about these options. Kasi a woman in crisis, in pregnancy crisis, hindi siya nag-iisip or nagmamadali na siya. So, kailangan alalayan natin siya para she can think about other options. No?
Yun yung O. Yung namang V is to introduce her to a new vision or new values. Parang, when you choose abortion, what will happen to you? What can happen to you? Ba? At lilid natin siya na bigyang importansya niya yung kanyang sarili. Pwede, the value of marriage, the value of family, doon natin siya aakayin. And letter E?
Extend help. Okay? So, iba-iba. Sa pakikinig mo sa kanya dun sa L step, di ba? Malalaman mo, ano ba yung strengths niya? Diba? Meron namang kaya. O hindi na may trabaho naman siya, hindi naman niya kailangan ng support. Diba? So, alamin natin. So, maybe, ibang help yung kailangan niya. But just the same, we extend help. Katulad nung client ko na dalawa sila, no? Nagpunta dun sa center. They are 13 and 14 years old. Of course, pagdating sa akin, sabi ko, naku, isa na naman ito na pipiliin yung abortion as an option. Pero I was surprised. Yung sabi nila, nung nag-uusap kami, wag po ninyo isipin na we would like to abort the baby. No, we want the baby. This is our baby. We came here po to ask you to help us. And I said, how can I help you? And they said, paano po namin sasabihin sa magulang namin itong sitwasyon namin? Diba? So, ayan. So, yun yung tulong na kailangan nila, doon mo sila tulungan. So, yun, in-explore ko ano ba yung yung parents nila, sino ba yung unang pwedeng sabihan, yung mga ganun ba? Not necessarily monetary, not necessarily i-house, no, but in some cases, you can extend help by offering to put her into a temporary shelter.
Tama. And he also stands for empower her to carry out a plan and to make life changes. So, yung sessions on the love approach will teach the client how to plant the seed in the initial interview, or will teach us how to plant the seed in the initial interview, so that when the seed falls on good soil, it will bear fruit. When the seed doesn't fall on good soil immediately, you can still nurture and keep planting seeds if you continue to follow up. What is important in the love approach as seed planters and sometimes nurturers, we are not responsible for the results. We leave that up to the Lord. Basta we plant the seed and let the Lord handle the rest. The supernatural work of the Spirit will be the one responsible for the results.
Okay, so what we really are able to do is plant a seed using the love approach. Love as
Meaning?
in, mahalin mo
Mhm.
muna yung taong lumapit sa iyo for help.
Mhm.
Diba? So, we listen to the client
Introduce positive options to her.
and encourage her to envision to have a vision for herself and her situation differently.
Lay out a plan and extend continued help for E.
Yan.
Yan. Okay. The other things that we do that is we advertise ourselves through print or social media. Okay, pregnant, need help, post-abortion, pregnancy loss or miscarriage support, looking for sexual integrity program. Call or text our numbers. We publish our numbers. We introduce ourselves. We are Heartbeat Pregnancy Support Services of Asia. We make ourselves available for phone counseling or for accompaniment. After giving out our contact numbers, expect calls, inquiries. Sometimes akala nila we are an abortion clinic. So ang tanong ay,
How much po yung 3 months? Ayan. Usually, pag tawag nila, gusto ko lang pong mag-inquire, no? Ano yun? Pwede po malaman kung magkano yung 3 months. So, kailangan alam mo din yung sasabihin mo or how to answer. That is why kailangan mag-training din tayo kung paano natin sasagutin. Kasi pag sinabi mo, sorry, hindi kami nag-abort dito, bababaan ka na ng telepono and then you lose the chance no, to journey or to minister to that person.
During our conversation with the client who is considering abortion, truth is the important ingredient, particularly the facts about abortion and how abortion can affect the woman. Okay, plus a method for presenting the truth. There is a format called Health and Safety Checklist. Parang sa call center, pag tawag mo, akala mo ang usay-usay niya, but may guide. Diba? Health and Safety Checklist. Meron din ang phone counseling ng Heartbeat, Pregnancy Support Services of Asia. With love and truth, then, our goal is to help the client understand abortion more fully so that she can truly make an informed decision.
Research has shown that many women and girls have abortions without knowing much about abortion or their options beforehand. We have heard many say na, kung alam ko lang po, if I had only known, hindi ko po gagawin. Yan.
Research also show that many women and girls make an abortion decision often uninformed because they are feeling pressure from someone else, spreading from their boyfriend, from their spouse, or even from their parents. They often do not fully consider their own ambivalent feelings about abortion. They ignore them in order to just to please others or to save a relationship. Kasi sasabihin siya ng boyfriend, pag hindi mo ipapa-abort yan, break na tayo, hihiwalayan kita. Something like that.
Many also face physical and emotional problems, some very severe, after an abortion. And they say that they never knew that this might happen. You know, I have a client na yung nag-usap kami, ang sabi niya, 85% of my friends say I should have an abortion. So, and then I asked her, what do you think about abortion? Diba? So, hindi nila alam eh. That's why, ganun lang. No? Hindi nila nauunawaan what will happen to them. So, we know from experience that if we can help women and girls get complete information, think more clearly about abortion, and get in touch with their own instinct, feelings, and values, many of these women and girls choose not to have abortions, and they are very thankful afterwards.
Other things that we offer is we refer the client to a temporary shelter if needed. Or, kaya kami porsigido, help groups to establish a pregnancy crisis center. Kayo pwede in your diocese, in your organization, in your parish, or in your own home. Kung you will so decide, we will share to you a step-by-step guide on what you need to know and prepare as you start to operate your own center.
Do you know that we began our ministry in our own home?
Yes.
We invited, or we welcomed a pregnant woman who was brought to us through the parish, referred to us by the priest, and then we ministered to her, and then she needed, a temporary shelter. So we welcomed her into our home. So, and then the ministry started. That was the call from the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And we have had around, tawag namin we have 5 additional babies. Yung babies saved from abortion that we housed in our home.
One service that we offer in our center is we do pregnancy tests. And while doing the pregnancy test, we apply the love approach. So the woman does not know if she's pregnant or if she's positive or negative. Not sure yet. Okay, so we do not immediately share the result. If the result is positive, we ask the client, what are your options? Apply the lab approach. Okay, but if the result is negative, we don't just tell her, oh,
okay,
you're not pregnant. It's just a delayed menstruation. Go home and be merry. Okay, that's not the way. We share to the client sexual integrity program so that she will not be on a revolving door. You know the revolving door? You are in the door and then you keep on rotating and rotating, revolving. Okay, meaning if you will not share to the client the values, next month, next cycle, she will still be in your center. What is sexual integrity? Sexual integrity is choosing to control your sexual actions for the good of yourself and for the good of others. Sexual integrity or sexual wholeness is not just physical, not sex or no sex, but it is expressing our sexuality in a true, excellent, honest, and pure way. Our sexuality is who we are, bilang lalaki, bilang babae. And it includes physical, hindi lang physical, including emotional, intellectual, social, and spiritual aspects of our personality. What does ideal of sexual integrity look like? During childhood, parents should give their love, care, and attention to protect their children. During adolescence, parents should be open to their children, guiding them, giving them directions as they mature. Having protected and guided them, they will now be ready to give themselves in marriage and celebrate. They are a gift to their spouse. When our client's sexuality has not been protected, it must be healed, then directed, so it can be celebrated when they marry. Sexual integrity is for all of us. Let us talk naman about post-abortion healing and support.
When someone tells you or is referred to you that she had an abortion, what should be your attitude? First, acceptance. Make them feel welcomed. No judgment, no condemnation. Refrain from moralizing or spiritualizing. Listen and learn. Feel the person with love. Establish relationship with her or with him. And ask her if she's willing to journey with you for healing. Tell her you are willing to help and explain the program Heart to her. Invite her to take Heart. Now, what is Heart? Heart is the program that we give to those who have been involved in an abortion. No? Heart is for healing the effects of abortion-related trauma. Ayan. So, kanina love, ngayon heart naman. So, the purpose is heart, is to help and assist men and women who were part of an abortion experience to come to an understanding and healing of post-abortion syndrome through prayer, the Word of God, and self-examination in a compassionate and loving atmosphere of support and fellowship. Importante yun. The program also uses tools such as telling your story. So we ask them to tell the story about how she got into having an abortion. No? Then write a journal or writing letters to her perpetrators or to her victims or to her observers. No? And then, of course, sabi ko na nga kanina, reading the scriptures, which is very important. No? The heart program that we conduct is 7-week sessions, once a week, no? With memorialization. At the end, we do a memorialization, no, of the baby. So we ask them to name their babies and then surrender their babies to the Lord. And this program could be given to an individual, to a couple, or to a group of male, or to a group of female. Yan. So after completing the heart, and there are other issues that come out like abuse or neglect, kaya pala siya resort to abortion is because she doesn't care kasi her parents didn't care anyway sa kanya. No? So ayun, isang factor yun. So meron pang ibang issues. So we recommend the person to undergo Hope Alive therapy.
Why the urgency? Because there are millions of children throughout the world who are being neglected and abused. In most instances, people suffer from the effects of both childhood mistreatment and pregnancy loss. In at least 70% of the cases we see, people are suffering from the combined effects of abuse, neglect, and abortion. Hope Alive is group counseling designed for men and women who are deeply damaged, women and men who are victims of neglect, abuse, and abortion. There are 32 sessions of 1.5 to 2 hours per session, twice a week. Hope Alive is designed and developed by Dr. Philip Ney of Canada. Lily and I are members of the International Hope Alive Counselors Association of Canada.
So again, we quote from Saint Teresa of Calcutta, or Mother Teresa. She says, "There is a tremendous strength that is growing in the world through sharing together, praying together, suffering together, and working together."
We can do many things to fight the intrinsic evils of abortion by being lifeguards. So let us be open to help and reach out to pregnant women in crisis and to men and women suffering from post-abortion syndrome, PAS, and post-abortion survivor syndrome, PASS. If you're interested to learn more and develop the lifeguard skills, you may contact us and request for follow-up training for your group, for your parish, for your organization. Just call or text 0932-883-3157, 0916-288-7198, 0923-969-8136. For more info, like and follow us on our FB page, Heartbeat Pregnancy Support Services of Asia. May God be praised. Thank you very much.